law came out the first time, I was actually against it eh, 'di ba? Yung kay Tito Soto, siya yung nag-umpisa na, siya yung nag-author ata, nag-co-author ng bill na to eh. I was against this cyber libel. I never really liked it and I didn't like how it was written and how it was been weaponized. And sure enough, nung panahon ni Duterte was when he absolutely weaponized it against anyone that wanted to even try to criticize him. Yun ang nangyari kay Maria Ressa, 'di ba? Totally harassed her with all these cases.
So what do you have to say about, patulan na natin, Tatay Digong going from saying BBM weak leader, same Tatay Digong saying BBM dictador, strongman, no freedoms. Like, how do you?
So, pare, alam mo, I love the fact that ngayon, nagkakaroon na ng mga spokesperson, yung mga unofficial spokesperson si BBM at lumalabas na itong mga bagong mga moniker para kay Duterte. Si Trillanes, di ba? Was it Trillanes that tagged Duterte as the one-man fake news machine or something like that?
Bersamin. In
Si
fairness,
Bersamin.
executive
Man,
secretary. That was good.
brilliant. Oh, brilliant. And now, that's sticking to Duterte and people are reminded na, oh, totoong fake news talaga si Duterte at magaling siya magsinungaling.
Pero hindi
And
siya one man
Trillanes,
daw. Meron siya lang na troll farm daw eh.
oo nga, and Trillanes, di ba, said nga that eto si Duterte is a pathological liar, which is true. How many times siya nagsinungaling sa ating taong bayan? How many times siya nahuling nagsinungaling? At umamin siya na nagsinungaling siya. At alam mo, sinabi pa nga niya, di ba? Nung nahuli siyang nagsinungaling, sabi niya, kung naniwala ka dyan, bobo ka, tanga ka, nagpapabudol ka, di ba? Parang ganun. Pinagtawanan pa niya yung mga sarili niyang supporters na naniniwala sa kanya.
Ako, Budol King pa rin. I think that's the best. That it
Oh,
really.
yeah, yung bago, the Budol
Whenever
King.
I
Sino
put
nagsabi
Budol,
nun?
ako! Ay, alam mo naman, yeah, I came up with the Budol King. So every time I interview, di ba, Budol King, Budol King. So I think that sticks the most. Natitrigger, ang dami hanggang kagabi, hanggang 3 a.m. Marami nag-aaway sa akin. Kasi gising ako kagabi, dahil na-trigger ako talaga dun sa back and forth ni Zelensky at Trump. I was like, wow, baka magsusuntukan na tong mga to. Did you see that, bro? Like, so basically, 90% of the press conference was kind of okay, nagtatawanan. And then suddenly, ito si JD Vance comes out of nowhere. Parang basically sabi niya, kiss the ring. Parang, say
Yep.
thank you to the boss boy. Parang ginalan lang niya. Ito, syempre, ito, parang I survived 3 years of Russian invasion. I'm not gonna allow you bunch of, riffraffs, MAGA boys to tell me what to do. So lumaban siya, pikon na rin si. I thought mag-walk out na or something. What did you feel about that episode, bro? Bago natin pag-usapan si Andrew Tate. At balikan ng Pilipinas before we wrap up this discussion. Kasi ako talagang na-trigger ako kasi is this how US treats the smaller countries? Na parang salamat kayo sa akin, parang kiss the ring.
So,
It's so gangster, bro.
yeah. So to begin with, I watched the entire 49 minutes of this press con and I tried to listen to every word uttered and also the underlying meaning of everything that was said, basically to read between the lines. At alam mo dito, nakita ko talaga, I want to give credit then to Trump because for the entire first 40 minutes bago nagkagulo na lahat he was measured, calculated, and diplomatic. Except for the occasional, if it wasn't for me, if it's under my administration,
Alam
this wouldn't have happened, blah, 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 patting himself on the back. Pero he did say a lot of things that people may not have caught. Number one, he said that he is committed to NATO. Number two, he did say that he will protect Ukraine. Number three, he did say na nung pinressure siya nung reporter na, paano kung hindi ni Putin ipatupad yung ceasefire, anong gagawin mo? Sinagot ni Trump, can we not talk like that right now? Kasi you're talking in hypotheticals and what ifs. And the fact is, these are negotiations and those cases, hindi natin alam kung anong gagawin natin and he didn't want to commit to anything. But, with the mineral deal with Ukraine, guaranteed, pag may nangyari sa Ukraine, now that the US has a financial stake in Ukraine, hindi gagalaw si Putin. Talagang masesecure
But that's
niya ang
unfair, bro.
Ukraine.
Like, parang the idea is like, we will protect you, but let my boys operate some of your stuff in your neighborhood. Parang, it's a very gangster. I mean, some would even call it, it's a semi-colonial arrangement, right? Para hindi ka invade ng Russia, give me a monopoly on your tobacco. This is what they used to do in the 19th century.
Yeah, you know
The
what?
British used to do this a lot.
Okay, so originally when I heard about the idea of he wanted to get the minerals, I didn't like it. I thought, wow, grabe naman taking advantage of a country while they're in trouble, 'di ba? Pero at the same time, na-realize ko that that was very strategic naman kasi yung deal naman wasn't like they want to take everything. They're going to invest to be able to mine for all these minerals. So, mag-i-invest din naman ng US and they're going to share the profits. So for me, that was okay. And again, the implications of an economic partnership with Ukraine like that's ganun ka-strong. Matatakot talaga ang Russia to even try to now put soldiers on the ground or try to even bomb any areas at this point. And Trump hinted at that when he was talking to the reporters. Sabi niya na, syempre hindi ko sasabihin lahat to, pero imagine mo na lang, we will have to protect American interests. He went as far as that. And he goes, we will do whatever it takes to protect American interest. So in that sense, nakikita ko that Trump really wants to try to get peace with Ukraine. Okay, so I want to just say that part first, that I like the fact that he kept reiterating that I want peace, I want peace. And he did say, naintindihan ko si Zelensky kung ba't galit na galit siya kay Putin. Pero kung ako tanungin mo, this is not my fight. Kaya I'm trying to be diplomatic. And then he said, if you want me to call Putin a dictator, I can. But is that gonna help the negotiation? Matutulong ba yung negotiation by calling somebody a dictator, murderer, killer, and then pag nakaupo na kayo, hi, let's negotiate. It's not gonna help. He said it. He goes, I can be very tough, a tough negotiator. But in this case, I need to make the deal happen. I want peace. I want this war to end. And his legacy is going to depend on this kung mapatigil niya to. Okay. Having said that, JD Vance is an idiot. I just made a video about it. He's a freaking idiot.
Okay. But some say planted daw ni Trump yan. I have no information to confirm.
Ano
But
yun? Ano yun?
remember, it's very rare that the vice president gives a talk while the two heads of states are meeting. So the one suspicion is that was a setup. Na towards the end of the talk, JD Vance will come in and trigger in. And look at it. It's not only JD Vance, right? You have other like people yung mga
Yes, maybe some
making fun of his clothes. These are like even not JD Vance.
maybe
Yeah.
something.
That was a low blow.
It's a bunch of like, who are these people? Like, di ba, ikaw hindi ka mababastusan. Kung si BBM nandyan, tapos
Yeah.
awayin siya nung staff lang ni Trump. Di ba? Parang,
Yeah.
bastos. And by the way, there's so many world leaders who go there in their traditional suit. Elon Musk goes there with a t-shirt and cap. They never make an issue out of that.
Yep.
But if Zelensky goes there with the clothes, disrespect yan. Come on, bro. I felt that was a bullying and a shakedown. It was really bad look, bro. Now, let's
No,
go to...
No, with that one, I agree. That was a low blow. That was uncalled for. And talagang nakikita mo may mga talagang mga deranged followers ng si Trump na nandoon. I want to talk about yung conspiracy theory na sinabi mo na parang sinetap si Zelensky for this.
That's a theory.
Ako,
I
I'm
have
going...
confirmation, yeah.
Ako, I don't think it was a setup eh. Why? Kasi panoorin mo yung nangyari. JD Vance spoke out and started to bash the Biden administration. And then he goes, yan ang problema eh. He goes, Trump is trying to be diplomatic and we're gonna fix this with diplomacy. Zelensky should have picked his fights. He should not have replied or tried to ask questions to JD Vance. Bakit? He's a vice president. Yun lang yun. Walang power si JD Vance. Kausap na niya yung presidente. If Zelensky had just zipped his mouth and not said anything, this wouldn't have happened. Think about it. Because when he questioned JD Vance about the diplomacy, then sumagot si JD Vance, then sinabi niya, and then JD Vance started spouting off these parang narratives of you're forcing people to go into war, wala ka ng tao, ganyan-ganyan. And then, what did Zelensky say? He goes, have you been to Ukraine? And then he goes, I've seen it on TV. Napahiya si JD Vance. Alam niya napahiya siya and watch how he pivots.
Vance said, I saw your tour. Your tours are propaganda tours. Ang bastos pare, bastos yan eh. That
Yeah.
was rude. That was rude.
Pero nakita mo Zelensky was very calm in his entire demeanor. He was calm.
And bro, by the way, let's be clear. He's not fully proficient in English language. That was a bit unfair also. If you could see, he was struggling for the right words.
Yes.
So unfair din eh. Like, I think if he were fully proficient in English language, he could have cracked a joke or something to defuse them.
Yes.
So feeling ko unfair din kasi may language proficiency, but hindi barrier because he can speak English. But
Yep.
He's not as articulate. I mean, J.D. Vance is a very articulate guy. Donald Trump is a celebrity showman. So, feeling ko meron din yung ganon gap. Kaya medyo mali yung labas kay Zelensky eh.
Okay, sa akin lang ganun. Bottom line is, he did not have to correct J.D. Vance on J.D. Vance's pronouncements about Biden. Kasi if he didn't correct him, it would have ended there. And then he would have gone back to Trump and go, anyway, Trump, wag natin pansinin yung lapdog mo. Pag-usapan natin, okay na tayo. Let's go to the room and sign the deal. Whatever, di ba? But because he corrected J.D. Vance, ito yung ginawa niya. Sinabi niya, di ba, you've never been to Ukraine, you saw it on TV, so you know that, that Putin doesn't listen to ceasefire, na medyo nilecture niya si J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, sobrang napahiya. Watch how he says this. He goes, yeah, you know what? That's the problem Yung about this narrative you have, blah, blah, blah. And then and how dare you come to the United States, not be thankful. You never thanked us once. And then you come here and then you attack the administration and everything. Okay, so hindi na niya ma-defend sarili niya. Kaya ngayon, ginawa niya, parang pinalabas niya, ina-attack ni Zelensky si Trump, na hindi naman niya ginagawa yon. And because he did that, now it brings Trump into the argument. Now, Trump was holding back, and Zelensky was starting to
Oh, come
debate.
on, seriously. You think J.D. Vance would have done that without knowing that there's a green light from Trump? Come on. I don't think J.D. Vance would.
No. That looked spontaneous to me, honestly. And because it seemed like JD Vance was caught with a lie, caught with a bad narrative that he can't defend because obviously he hasn't been to the ground. He's never been in this kind of a war. Tapos kaya siya nag-pivot agad para maghanap ng kakampi. It's a classic case of, diverting the discussion to the behavior of the person rather than the point of contention. So, dapat pinag-uusapan natin yung sinabi mo about Ukraine and about the US na kung ano yung tinulong ng US. Pero instead, sinabi mo, nang-iinsulto ka, inattack mo kami, walang hiya ka, inattack mo yung aming presidente sa sarili naming bansa. How dare you do that?
Sumali pa yung mga staff sa likod. Why not
Yeah,
wearing
exactly.
Come on, bro.
And,
That's
and
crazy.
then Trump got triggered na. Ayan na. And then Trump went off on the rails. Again, I'm just seeing both sides. I see what Trump's trying to do. I
MAGA,
like what he's...
bro, you're a MAGA. I knew it. I love
No, no,
that.
no.
No, but
Dude, it's not about taking sides. It's really, take out the biases. Listen to what he was saying. He really wanted to get a peace deal done. He really wanted to sign this. Why? It's an ego thing for him. Dahil pag magawa niya to, he can now brag to everyone, I'm the president that made peace happen. And he could have done it immediately.
And Nobel Peace Prize even.
Of course. Pero ito yung problema. Na, I mean, I'm gonna try to be understanding here that, alam mo, when you've been trying to hold back for 30 minutes, tapos ang tense ng negotiations, bigla lumabas yan, sometimes you lose it. And he lost it. Okay? And that was it. So the first trigger was Zelensky, in my opinion, should have picked his battle so he can win the war. He didn't pick his battle. Pinatulan niya si J.D. Vance when he didn't have to, number one. But ang may kasalanan talaga si J.D. Vance because he is a freaking attack dog na pag pinakinggan mo yung mga sinasabi niya, it's all about these blustering words that really don't amount to anything in terms of negotiating. But it's not even diplomatic. It's actually to try to intimidate you, to try to harass you, and to try to bully you. That's what he did. Yun lang yun.
Okay. I'll adjust the aperture a little bit even further, to be even more fair. First
Yes,
of all, towards the end, nakita mo na for Trump, this is something personal also. The fact that for him kasi, Zelensky, Hunter Biden, his first impeachment, all of those experiences went together. And in fact, there are people, Ukrainian American advisors to Trump who openly said that Trump hates Zelensky because, remember, you want to help me with the Hunter Biden thing, and then later on, nahulian. So, I think it would be naive to dismiss that there's some personal beef and all, and animus on the part of Trump. And we know Trump is someone who takes, he's someone with grudges, right? Now, this is not to demonize the guy. It's just how it operates with Trump. There's also another big issue that actually, if you're a Filipino watching this, you might actually be happy in a sense that, and I'll explain. I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Parang, finally, US will get out of Europe and all para mag-focus na siya sa atin. right? Because the fact is Marco Rubio, Secretary Rubio, who was in the room, mukhang kawawa na naman, he cannot talk. Kasi you could see Rubio saying, what the heck am I doing next to this JD Vance? I'm the senior senator. I'm the secretary. But anyway, I never thought I would be so parang sympathetic to Marco. Look at every meeting that Marco Rubio is there, and then Elon Musk is talking to JD. Yung mukha stress. But anyway, going back to this. Rubio, for instance, made Philippines and Taiwan exempted from the US aid, yung mga suspensions. So,
Yes.
part of you as a Filipino was, oh, buti nga, at least, alis na kayo sa Europe, tama na yan, wala kayo, and Europe is so rich and wealthy, etc., right? Their GDP combined is 10 times Russia. So why not, let's just take care of this, 3 years US. So I get also that part. And in fact, there's even a bigger argument. I call it the reverse Nixon. What if what Trump could do is to cut a deal with Iran, nuclear deal, cut a deal with Russia, and then take those two out of the Chinese camp, and then isolate China. Just like what Nixon did back in the day when he took China out of the Soviet camp, or took advantage of the Sino-Soviet split, and then cornered. So this kind of trilateral game. It is not impossible that could eventually happen, that maybe a nuclear deal with Iran comes, maybe with Russia something comes. So a part of me, the Filipino Asian part of me said, maybe this could work. Maybe there's a method to this, right? I won't even call it madness. Let's just say drama, right? I understand that. Third, I completely understand we need peace. Absolutely, we need peace. Ukrainians are the first person to say they want peace. But here comes the problem, brother. The devil is in the details. For average Ukrainians, and even for definitely for their president, a bad deal is worse than status quo. Because their fear is, if there is a bad deal, Putin will pocket that ceasefire effectively, and then after 3 years, he'll invade even better, even stronger and more prepared. And then mas yari pa yung mga Ukrainians. And as we speak, 20% of the country is occupied, 21% by the Russian. So they rather keep the hell of now than have worse hell in 3 years from now. So that is where I have problems with the Trump approach, because if you look at what Pete Hegseth said in Munich Security Conference, if you look at hindi lang dito JD Vance has been bashing, essentially saying, oh, mag-thank you kay boss. He has been trolling Zelensky since the conference. Basically what they said, Ukraine will never be part of NATO. Ukraine will never have US troops. Ukraine will Para sa akin, bro, yun ang sasabihin mo sa negotiations, hindi sa public. Kasama yan sa cards mo. So sa tingin ko, bro, ang problema dito is, if hindi ayusin yung rhetoric at saka yung tactics, baka mamaya we'll get a bad deal. Eh di sayang. So this is where I agree with my American friends. Sabi na American, dami nagre-react sa mga post ko eh. We gave 100 billion taxpayers money. Sabi, exactly. Ayaw mo masayang. You invested so much in Ukraine, so many Ukrainian sacrifice. So you want to get a good deal. Because my reading, brother, and I'll be going back again, not on the front lines, but based on my conversation with people in Baltic areas, with leaders, is actually Russia bugbog sarado sila. They were scared to attack Finland when Finland decided to join NATO in the middle of the war. They didn't attack Estonia. I was in an Estonian base, NATO base, right next to the Russian border. They never bothered. Estonia is smaller than half of QC, right? So that means actually Russia is a cornered beast. Putin looks tough. So for me, this is a good chance to juice out a good deal out of Russia and then bring Russia into the fold and isolate China. That's my preferable. So my worry kasi, bro, here is that baka ang mangyari dito is hindi mangyari yung gusto natin, which is get out of Europe, blah, 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 and then come to China. Baka ang mangyari dito is US will just say, screw you all, right? We're just for America. We'll just cut deals, right? And if China offers me better deal than Taiwan, I'll go with China. If this country offers, so that's the situation we don't want. That kind of as you know, ang idol niya is William McKinley, the very guy who colonized the Philippines, right? He has that kind of late 19th century mindset. So that's why I'm worried with what I'm seeing. And at the visceral level, as a man of the third world, Ukraine is for me a global South country. I felt like I could feel the pain of Zelensky being slapped around by nobodies there inside the room. I'm not talking JD, I'm talking people at the back. Like, who are you, diba? Bastos yun eh. Ako nabastosan ako as a smaller allied country of the US or something like that. So that's where I come from. But I want to ask you this question, brother. So how do you explain the Andrew Tate situation in Florida? I mean, that is crazy.
Well,
how is that going to help U.S. national interest, the Andrew Tate situation?
Well, with regards to Andrew Tate naman, sinabi ni Ron DeSantis, hindi naman siya welcome talaga dito sa Florida eh. And, ano ba sinabi niya? We don't welcome rapists and sex traffickers and all of that. Pero, I
Stay-
mean, hindi pa naman convicted si Andrew Tate, so we don't know. But there are victims that came out. So, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate at all. I think he's a scammer. I think he takes advantage of men that are desperate to try to improve themselves and are willing to pay him a lot of money to do it. But at the same time, gusto ko pa rin makita ko ano ba yung verdict after the case has been filed and has been tried to be able to give my judgment kung totoo bang sex trafficker siya at rapist siya. Hindi ko alam. Pero I don't like him at all. Okay? And he's going back to the US because he thinks, oh wow, Del Trump na yung panalo, that more people like him. Oh wow, what misogynist and yung mga ganyang klaseng mga tao. I don't
Okay, so
know.
what do you think about immediately releasing the Epstein files and giving it to the MAGA vloggers without,
So,
I mean, the whole thing looks like something else to me. It looks like what I was saying during the DDS period, whereby Mocha Usman will get a
yep.
special meeting with Duterte, and then, it looks
Oh,
like an operation to me, an information war operation to me.
yeah, but bottom line, na 'di ba narinig mo nga when they gave the folder, they opened it and wala namang bagong information doon. Everything that was already there was already disclosed previously. And what the irony was this, I don't think they're gonna ever release the actual true Epstein files. Why? Because as everyone knows, one of Epstein's bestest besties is Donald Trump. Kaya natatawa ako sa mga MAGA people saying na parang, sige, release natin yung Epstein files. Lumabas si Bill Clinton doon at saka si Bill Gates. Holy smokes, hold on guys. Before you start talking about the Democrats, your president was one of the closest friends of Epstein. They have multiple phone
Kasi
logs.
redact nila yan, tatanggalin nila every reference to Trump.
Diba? They have multiple phone logs and logs, air flight logs. Maraming interaction, not once, not twice, multiple. And narinig mo na nga si Trump, sinasabi niya na, oh, pareho kami ni Epstein. We like beautiful women and we like them young. I mean, holy
My
cow. I
God.
mean,
Oh my God. And
that's all
wait.
incriminating.
Let's not forget, Andrew Tate is being accused of operating in Eastern Europe, right? And like connect the dots. Okay, anyway, I don't want to say something, it might come off wrong, but I think people can connect the dots, what I'm saying here. Ako naman, the Romanian authorities would not have placed them under house arrest if I don't think a certain threshold of evidence was already not met. So while you're correct that there's no final court the verdict, I don't think there would have been a house arrest kind of a situation unless the threshold of evidence was very high. And let's not forget, Romania is a NATO member, a very small country, even smaller than Ukraine. So I'm not ruling out also, muscling their way. Hey, Romania, baka you want to cough up our friends there. So again, for me, it looks very gangster. The whole thing looks very gangster.
But Richard, I've always been a little bit suspicious of any government. And that's why sa akin, I don't know if he's guilty or not, and could it be the Romanian government just pressuring him because of who he is? I don't know. And yun lang nga sa akin, we've seen the law weaponized so many times by whoever's in power. And that's why I want to wait until I see all the evidence and study it and even know what the case is and then find out what the verdict will be before I pass judgment. Dahil nga, sobrang daming beses nakita nga natin na nawe-weaponize tong mga batas natin. Sa Pilipinas, it's very common. In other European countries and Eastern European countries, I'm sure that also could happen, di ba? Kaya yun lang. As much as I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate, I still believe that let us see all of the evidence first before we pass judgment on anyone. But as a scammer, yun, I pass judgment. Kasi yun, obvious naman, he's a scammer. That's bottom line for me.
I almost called you Voltaire, like parang I do not agree with you, sir, but I'll die to defend your freedom to express your disagreement. But last point, let's talk about our favorite topic. Well, Bitcoin not doing well, man. It's like what's happening? And speaking of your favorite favorito, El Presidente, Milei, yung Libertad, meme coin niya.
Yeah, Libra,
Accusation
the
is
Libra meme coin, yeah.
what
Uh,
what he did was like a pull rug
Rug
situation,
pull,
right?
yeah.
Rug pull, yeah, like you something, and then people buy, and then you suddenly. Okay,
So,
what do you have to say about that, brother? The
So
whole
yeah, it was so disappointing for Milei to actually promote a cryptocurrency where he had no understanding of what a cryptocurrency is and what it does. So naloko siya nung isang scammer at siya naman nagpaloko. Yun ang problema. So ngayon, nagmukha siyang tanga and not only did he look stupid, it made everyone look stupid now. Pero remember, this was after Trump putting up his meme coin as well and promoting it. And because of that, ano nangyari ngayon? Pinag-usapan na to in Congress sa US eh. Sinasabi nila that I think there was a law that they're trying to pass to not allow presidents and anyone in government to be promoting mga meme coins and rug pulling it. Talagang ano, and makukulong ka if you do that. May ganun na law ngayon ng pinag-uusapan in Congress eh. And I agree with that. I honestly think that with Bitcoin right now, bumagsak yung presyo naman ng Bitcoin because of Trump and the tariffs that he's implementing, not just in Canada, not just in Mexico, but now all over the EU.
yeah.
He is literally turning US into he's isolating the United States. And trust me, I don't think this is gonna fare well for the US by doing that. They think they're one of the biggest economies and powerful trade partners, pero I think they're overestimating how powerful they are because with the new shift in the way people look at global reserve currency that the US is, and how the US has weaponized that currency by being able to confiscate it from Russia. People are now looking at another type of global reserve currency, and that's Bitcoin. At pag mangyari yon, mawawala na yung kanilang lakas at yung kanilang leverage. And then that's when you talk about the new world order. Who knows? We might end up with a new world order where everyone's together and then China, Russia, US, and North Korea ay magkakasama na. 'Di ba? Yun ang
Or
nakakatakot.
something even totally different, like in 10 different direction, like
Sure.
War of Five Armies, parang ano, yung parang
Yeah.
Warcraft. No, I mean, I'm going back to this, bro. Kasi I was personally a bit optimistic about Bitcoin before the JP Morgan report came out. So see, I'm really following this very closely. I mean, nagpapatawa ako, but actually I'm very serious. Ano na ito. So you had the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund, right? They bought $500 million, almost $470 million. So things are moving the right direction. I think baka what also happened is that there was an over expectation na lalo mag-boom itong Bitcoin because a lot of people that Trump has appointed in Treasury and different departments
Yep.
are very strong. And so feeling ko ang nangyari is medyo premature peak siya ng konti. Kaya siguro market correction din ito. So I completely agree with you. I think all experts would say that this whole tariff wars and disruption is not helping. But I would also add that I think there was a bit of premature overexcitement because hindi pa rin clear yung regulatory approach. But again, I cannot blame people. And this is where, bro, I feel more for Argentina because as you know, Argentina is still in the midst of an economic crisis.
Yes.
Countries where people are so desperate because their money is becoming worthless by the day. So they either put it in dollar or go into Bitcoin.
Yep.
So like in the US, it's not about, so that I score it so I can buy my Tesla tomorrow. In Argentina, it's a matter of survival. Kaya nainis ako dun sa nangyari kay Milei because that really hurt many families who are already struggling with almost, getting dropped out of the middle class. I mean, Argentina used to be a very middle class society. A good friend of ours was in Argentina recently. In all Latin America, Buenos Aires is the only place you go na sobrang low yung crime. You can go around without fearing. Hanggang ngayon even if there's economic crisis, it's a very proud, syempre a lot of them are Italians, Europeans, but there's also a lot of desperation. Kaya I felt bad na why would Milei do something like that? That's why he could face impeachment. I mean, this is a serious discussion right now in Argentina because tens of thousands of families may have put all of their money in whatever little savings they had into that meme coin that he released. Unlike in the case of US, and I think it's a much wealthier country and all, and I think people. So yun lang yung concern ko. Bro, wow, we talked about everything all around the world except one person, Harry Roque. I was very disappointed with General Torre. He couldn't give me the exact coordinates, but it looks like Dubai is like because every time we do a whole world survey, where in the world is Harry Roque? Wala ka bang wala ka bang info dyan? Ang chismis nga, babalik yan pag next Congress na para wala ng Quadcom. Kasi di ba yung show cause order sa kanya yung Quadcom. Eh. But General Torres said, hindi, pag may meron kaming basis, arestuhin namin yun kahit iba na yung Congress. Ikaw bro, wala?
Pe-
Hindi ka pumapatol sa Harry Roque, ano ko, no?
Hindi, pero sa akin, yung pala yung tama ka doon, na-realize ko nga, na o nga pala, bakit nga ba hindi pa ba na-aresto to si Harry Roque? Pero hindi lang yun, hindi lang si Harry Roque, si Bantag. Yung pala, naalala ko na naman, bakit hindi pa na-aresto si Bantag? That's a bigger threat right now.
Pero
That
yun,
man is the master, not the mastermind, the middleman. And that guy can tag who really ordered the killing of Percy Lapid. Kaya hindi siya mahuli-huli dahil pag nahuli yan si Bantag, kakantayan. At kailangan niya magsalita dahil kung hindi siya magsalita, siya yung makukulong as the mastermind. At sigurado ko pag nahuli na yan, magsasalita yan. Kaya nagtataka ko ba't di pa siya nahuhuli. Apparently, alam na daw nila kung nasan siya eh. So if you ever get to talk to General Torre, please ask him, bakit di pa niyo nahuhuli si Bantag kung alam na niyo kung nasaan siya?
alam ko sa Cordillera siya, bro. Eh. Baka sa tamang oras siya hulin. Baka kasi unahin pa siya. I mean, yeah, that's a crazy. You're absolutely right. Let's be honest. Lahat tayo in one way or another were inspired by Kapersi, no? Percy rapid fire, di ba? I think, you know, he it's so sad to see na ilang taon na, almost 2 years na, di ba, bro?
Yeah. It's about there na, yeah.
So thank you for mentioning him again. I think we have to mention him over and over again kasi he has been a lightning rod way before lahat tayo naging mas matapang, especially online and all. I mean, I've been working mainstream media pero yung mas matapang tayo online, he was there. He was doing that during pandemic. Naalala ko yung lola ko was watching him all the time. My lola went from pro Digong na I love Digong to like super anti-Digong because of Percy.
Yep.
Lapid. Kasi yun, talaga na-convince siya. O nga, no, ang dami mga, tapos yung Digongyo, di ba? Siya yung nag-coin ng term na yan, di ba?
Yep.
So, thank you so much, brother, for mentioning that. And thank you so
And
much, brother, about, this
sorry,
reminding us.
Richard, parang naghangata eh. Sorry.
Yeah. You were saying, no. And thank you for also reminding us about other fugitives na more sinister than my favorite ex-human rights lawyer, no?
Yeah. So that's why, Richard, I'm gonna say this. Kaya I'm a little bit suspicious of Magalong and what he really stands for, to be honest with you. And I was planning to do a video about him because nga pag pinakinggan mo yung kanyang mga pronouncements, nakikita ko talaga that meron siyang inclination to protect like I think he was also instrumental in protecting Bandag at one point. So he is actually complicit to the crimes of Duterte. And that really bothers me that somebody is complicit to that and he does not want to call it out. Nung nag-interview ka nga with him sinabi mo nga, instead of addressing the issue with Farmally, what does he do? Talks about something else. Yun na nga like when you can't call out something like
You're right.
that.
I forgot to ask that about Bantag. Kasi Bantag is he's from Cordilleras, right? So we know he was
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah, but they see how they made it a political issue about persecuting mga anong tribe siya. Yun daw ang issue.
Igorot. There were
O the
Igorot
Igorot tribe, it has nothing to do with the Igorot tribe. It has everything to do with the fact that this man has actually ordered the murder of Percy Lapid and the fact na merong malaking tao na sa likod niya kaya hindi siya mahuli-huli dahil alam natin lahat, pag nahuli tong si Bantag, he may actually reveal kung sino ba talaga ang nag-utos nito to save his own skin. Because I promise you, pag nahuli yan and you give him a plea bargain, a plea deal, and say to him, name the mastermind, and you will lessen your sentence, he will take that deal because nobody wants to go to jail for life. Yun. Kaya hindi siya mahuhuli. And that's the challenge I pose to General Torre. That kung mahuli mo yan, believe na talaga ako sa'yo. Kung mahuli siya, hindi ko alam. I think it's more likely that, Bantag might be suddenly dead before.
Yun nga yung point ko eh. I mean, do we even know if he's still alive, to be honest? I mean,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think he's still alive, but you never know, right? I mean,
Yeah, because remember, yung mga middlemen between Bantag and all the killers, ano nangyari? Napatay lahat sila. Who's to say hindi ito mangyayari sa kanya? The people that are, these people that we know are very capable of killing and murder. They won't even think twice about it.
for all we know, mas nagtatago siya dun sa isang camp kaysa dun sa
Yes.
isang camp, right? I mean, this is almost like watching Narcos, right? I mean, and it makes perfect sense. This is crazy. This is
Yep.
crazy. Thank you so much, brother, for another parang medyo naging Joe Rogan na tayo, parang discuss all around the world and all of that. Super ganda. I always appreciate it. Actually, bro, knock on the wood. I think people really like our combination kasi it's so parang seamless, flawless, walang pakialaman, di ba? Like, obviously, you know more on Bitcoin than me. There are certain issues probably I'm more familiar, but it doesn't come off. Like, we just talk as if we're just two, bros just exchanging thoughts. So it comes very naturally. And I think we need more of that in our country. Kasi sa totoo lang, I think sa Pilipinas, parating gusto ng tao, isa lang bida, isa lang yung ganon, tapos competitive masyado. Like, chill lang, bro. Like, we're just here chilling. So, thank you so much, brother, for being a fantastic collaborator in that sense. And looking forward to in-person again. Catch up ulit tayo with Sir Ronald and the RRMC. That went very, very well. I'll forward you some of the other links we have para tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Can I just request you, brother, if you can download this afterwards and send me the downloaded version because I missed some part na very interesting discussion about General Torre and General Bato. But I'll try to get up whatever I have here kasi ang ganda ng discussion. Ganda ng discussion. Bati pala yung 47 minutes niya no, ginawa mong whopping analysis no. But I appreciate also your point of view on Trump, and I felt it was a very balanced discussion overall, both of us. No, so you can see even if I'm critical, I always look at the big picture. In the end, hopefully, this moves towards a direction that favors us, our national interest. As much as I pray for our friends in Ukraine, hopefully they have a enduring and durable peace, just peace, hindi lang just any peace. Salamat, brother, and have a good weekend, and see you soon. God willing.
All right, buddy.
Salamat.